So many advisors these days are promoting annuities. Here's how to retire without annuities. Safer, smarter income planning. Stay tuned. So annuities promise a lot of different things, but one of the big things that they do is overpromise, underdeliver, and lock you in. I don't think I've ever seen a scenario where an annuity was actually chosen by an investor. Every single person I've ever met that has an annuity, they were literally sold the annuity. In other words, somebody had a conversation with them, they identified an objection that somebody would have. And that objection might be something like, hey, I'm worried about running out of money, or hey, I'm concerned about the stock market, or hey, I need income. And the salesperson said, ooh, here's a good prospect for an annuity, because the annuities, many of them will offer guaranteed income for life. Something like stock market participation, no risk of loss, preservation of assets. So if you walk into an advisor's office that sells annuities and you tell them you're scared of the stock market, you want income, and you want safety, they're immediately going to go, ooh, this is a great prospect for an annuity, because you literally just laid it, it's a silver platter for them. You just put it out there on a silver platter. They're wringing their hands. They're going, okay, here's a prospect. The problem is, what they're not telling you is, how do you get guaranteed income for life? How do you get stock market participation, no risk of loss? How do you get the benefits of an annuity? And didn't it sound a little too good to be true? Or to put it another way, if they're really that great, why isn't everybody putting their money in annuities? The truth is in the details and the fine print of the thick contract that almost nobody takes time to read. So what's in that annuity contract? All of that fine print. Things like lack of flexibility. In fact, tremendous lack of flexibility. Things like fees, but they don't always call them fees. But I guarantee you there are typically big fees in most of the annuity contracts that are out there. And also a lack of legacy value, meaning what actually gets passed on to beneficiaries after you've been in the annuity for your retirement. So if annuities are so bad, in my opinion, what are the alternatives? So if you're looking for income, if you're looking for flexibility, and if you're looking for safety, there are many options out there that aren't paying big commissions to advisors to promote them. So an alternative to an annuity might be something like a structured income ladder. So what is a structured income ladder? Well, it's a structure of various investments, all paying income, but they'll have various maturity dates. So in other words, all of your money isn't locked up in a contract for the next 10 years. You might have several different investment accounts, and maybe one is 12 months, maybe one's 24, maybe one's 36. And then every time that one comes due, you just renew that. But there are many, many ways to get that income stream you're looking for without locking your money up long term. Another big issue with the annuities is it's virtually impossible to have any sort of tax efficiency when it comes to withdrawals. So not everybody talks about this, but any money coming out of an annuity is always going to be taxed as ordinary income if it's any sort of profit or if it's a retirement account. So think of this, maybe your 401k or other retirement plan at work. If you put it into an annuity, it typically comes in the form of an IRA account. So any distributions from that have not been taxed yet, and it's taxed as ordinary income coming back to you. But what if you put money that is not a retirement account in there? So let's say a joint account, a trust account, an individual account, something like that. If I put $100,000 into an annuity contract, it's technically a deferred investment, meaning any interest that I earn, I don't pay tax on it until I pull it out. But the catch is, when I do pull it out, I'm going to have to pay ordinary income tax on that, as opposed to other investment options that are available to you, where you potentially pay a long-term capital gains tax, which is potentially much less than ordinary income tax. And here's the bonus. Figure out how complementary trusts and wills, in other words, estate planning, can fit into your overall plan. So we've got income planning, that's important. Tax planning, that's important. Certainly management of your assets, so we can make sure that your assets are growing, providing income and tax efficiency. But what happens when you're gone? It's called estate planning. So we provide complementary wills and trusts. Thank you for watching. Go to guardingyournestegg.com for your free and objective personal financial plan.